Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Thread.
Good to be
today's
back.
Today's Daily Thread is pretty international. I'm in New York.
Well, you're in New York, and I'm in Jerusalem at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, and we arrived. When did we arrive? Today, around 10 o'clock in the morning, I think. I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning, and it was a great trip. And let me tell you something. We're tired. It's been a long day, but I was telling you, the streets of Jerusalem are booming. I haven't seen it
Yeah.
like this. I haven't seen it like this in a long time. We walked from the lighting of the Hanukkah menorah at the Kotel a couple of hours ago, maybe an hour ago, and walking from the old city, up through to the Jaffa Gate. You have to shuffle. You can't even take regular steps. There's so many.
Do you think?
people.
I mean, you've been there, Sukkot. Do you think that it's more happening now?
I think it's more. I think it's more. I think it's more. I don't want to say cluttered, but I think it's just densely populated more now than Sukkot. First of all, you have the combination of the non-Jewish holiday coming up. Christmas and New Year week, and you have Hanukkah this week, and people are here from all walks of life.
Right.
Every conceivable sect. You hear every language being spoken when you walk by. The yeshiva students, seminary students, their parents. People are here for weddings and for upshards and bar mitzvahs, and there's every place you turn. We were by the Kotel. Benny Gantz, the defense minister, was the guest of honor, so to speak, at the lighting of the third torch.
Were you there? Were you there when he was there?
Yes, I was there when he was there. I sent Nissan some pictures of Benny Gantz walking First, they light the torches from on top of a roof overlooking the Kotel. Then they marched down to the Kotel and they light at the Kotel. And Rabbi Grossman from Boys Town was there, and he spoke, and it's just bursting. It's bursting with people clamoring all over each other, trying to get up on top of chairs. Some professional photographers trying to get pictures. Some people, everybody and their uncles trying to get pictures with their cell phones. I don't know what they're going to do with those pictures.
Right.
At least if I take a few pictures, I send them to you, and maybe you'll edit them into the podcast. But I don't know. What do people do? What do people do with all those pictures?
I don't know. To be honest, you ever go to a chuppah and you see like these people videoing? I'm sure you're one of them. See people videoing the chuppah. Where do those videos go? Also, like what happens to those?
I don't video chuppah. No. Do you?
No, you video
chuppah?
everywhere. You video everywhere.
No, that's not true. But people just have this knee-jerk reaction to video everything. But no one asks the question: what are they doing with those videos? Besides deleting it about a half hour later, when they discover when it says that you have no more room left on your phone.
Exactly.
What? So you have to think to yourself, "Gee, what am I going to delete? Oh, I have an idea. Let's delete everything because nothing's important."
Right? Absolutely. I do want to mention we mentioned yesterday about the Winiarz family. Baruch Hashem, I would say over $550,000 has been raised already for the family. Rabbi David Winiarz that passed away around 8 years ago. Mrs. Miriam Winiarz passed away last week. They leave behind 10 orphans, 4 of which are not married yet. And we just want to really encourage and implore our listeners to do what you can. If you have some ICER money to donate to their family, the link is in the description of this episode on YouTube and on Apple and Spotify. So please go ahead and open your heart, open your wallet, and give to the family because they certainly need it in this time. I do want to mention there's 2 stories that are about President Biden right now that I want to mention. One of them being, President Biden said that this year's Hanukkah arrives in the midst of rising and emboldened anti-Semitism at home and around the world. I recognize your fear, your hurt, and as your president, I want to make this clear. I will not be silent. America will not be silent. What do you think about that? Because I kind of feel like America's been pretty silent so far, no?
Well, first of all, I mean, he's the American president. I'm in Israel right now. So, yeah, I'm not that conscious or that much aware. I mean, we've been up for 36 hours pretty much straight, and I really haven't even looked at a newspaper online yet. But I will maybe if I get up during the night, if I get a couple hours of sleep, maybe I'll take a look. Well, I think it would be more appropriate if you wanted to talk about rising anti-Semitism and rising inflation. Maybe you should have held that as comments for Pesach when bread rises, and it becomes chametz. That might have been more appropriate for the speechwriters in the White House to use that metaphor and those
I don't know.
illustrations at that time of year rather than on Hanukkah. If you want to talk about something about Hanukkah, why don't you talk about the riots in 2020 when they burnt buildings down in 20 different states? That might have been
Yeah,
more.
maybe.
That might have been. What was the second thing you wanted to bring up about the
The
president?
second story about President Biden is that he was approached and he was asked, when is he going to declare the Iran deal dead? And President Biden responded, "It is dead, but we're not going to announce it." He said, "It is dead, but we are not going to announce it." I'm not sure what that means, and I'm sure his press secretaries are scrambling to figure out what exactly now to say based on these words that President Biden said.
There's a big problem here because he says things almost every single day that are very difficult to understand, don't make any sense, or there are huge exaggerations that have been proven almost immediately to be straight out lies.
Yeah.
And there's no recourse. He's still, the best thing that the Democrats have, and they're still pushing for him to run again in 2024.
Yeah, listen, I can't speak for Joe Biden exactly, but that's just two things that stood out this morning already. I mean, like that's between last night and this morning. That's the daily briefing from President Joe Biden. But how was your visit to Eretz Chaim the other day in Beit Shemesh?
Wait, it wasn't the other day. My visit to Beit Shemesh. My visit it was today. It was earlier today.
I think you're a little bit tired, no? Like it's been one long 40-hour day for you.
It's been very long. I think I already took 3 cat naps. I lay down for 15 minutes and the phone rings. That's one of the problems with not being disconnected really. Like what time is it? Right now it's 7:49 here. It's 10 to 8 in the evening, which means it's 10 to
Yeah.
1. It's 10 to 1. My office is functioning. It's Hanukkah. It's one of our busiest newspapers coming out this week of the year. It's one of the busiest of the year, Shabbos Hanukkah. And I don't know, I'm going to be getting texts and calls up until at least midnight Israel time.
We
What
can
am I
make sure
supposed to
nobody.
do?
We can make sure nobody calls you.
I'll turn the ringer off. I guess I don't know. I'll turn the ringer off, and then also it's very hard to I thought Wi-Fi was all around Jerusalem. I find that it's very hard to get a decent signal in different places. I was by the Kotel for Ma'ariv after the candle lighting, and they have a Kotel Wi-Fi, but nobody knows the password. I asked a half a dozen people.
Yes, half a dozen people.
What is the password? Anybody know the password is for the Kotel Wi-Fi? Please drop me a line or text Achi so he can share it with me. I don't know who else to ask. I asked the guys that moved the stenders. I asked the guys that are putting away the Shidurim. I asked the security guys. No one knows what I'm talking about. I need a password for the Kotel Wi-Fi. Now, why am I using my phone at the Kotel? Because there's a lot of things going on at the Kotel besides davening,
So this video that I have here via MKY in Los Angeles for a show, Benny Friedman took advantage of the one-day trip to visit Abba Yitzi Hurwitz, who is bedridden with a debilitating illness, and he davens along with him. And I want to just pull up the video and show our viewers. It's really beautiful, the amount of performers that go ahead and stop by to visit Rabbi Yitzi Hurwitz. I'm sure it brings him a ton of chizuk.
No, listen, he's quite an inspiration. I mean, he's dealing with, like you said, a debilitating illness. He has a young family, and it's just difficult to wrap your mind around. But he is an inspiration to people that are dealing with all kinds of different types of difficulties, whether physical or emotional or psychological or financial or any number of other things. And he shows people that there is life to be lived.
Yeah. On a lighter note, I see a really funny story, an interesting story from JTA. The Detroit Pistons have a message for Kyrie Irving after his anti-Semitism scandal. Happy Hanukkah. The Pistons wish Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving a happy Hanukkah Sunday night, the first night of Hanukkah. The Pistons appear to be trolling Irving, who recently shared anti-Semitic film on Twitter and initially refused to apologize. The scoreboard displayed both a spinning globe and a Hanukkah graphic with a menorah while he was at the free throw line. The former is in reference to previous comments, the All-Star made, which we know about. And it's I don't know. I think
funny.
It may have been every time he went to the free throw line. He went to the free throw line a globe. Do you know the globe part is because he's a flat earther. Kyrie Irving thinks the Earth is flat.
Oh, yeah?
So I'll put a picture here. They put a picture of a globe with the world being round.
Yeah.
And another time he was at the free throw line, they put a Happy Hanukkah sign. That is from a which, by the way, I have some intel for you. You had asked me about Ryan Terrell and is there Jewish ownership, and we came to the sort of conclusion that the owner of the Pistons is not Jewish. But I spoke to somebody, and there is a minority owner of the Detroit Pistons. His name is Arn Pelham, and Arn Pelham is a Jew. And the reason why, so he definitely, I think that this thing happening to Kyrie and Ryan Terrell being in the Pistons system definitely comes from a Jewish ownership decision. So, in case you were wondering, but I think it's funny to see coming from a corporate standpoint that a team really trolling Kyrie Irving like that in the middle of a game. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, well, it's a distraction. It's a sidetrack type of thing. It's not central focus to the game. These guys have to play ball. They're being paid. I think Kyrie Irving's being paid $40 million a season, if I'm not mistaken, right? And he has to. I forgot who said it, but he has to shut up and dribble. And you don't like me saying that, right?
I just think that term was condemned.
No. So condemned only because it was directed at LeBron James, who thinks that he's a great social scientist. But
huge.
But he's not. Yeah, he is huge, but he's not a social scientist. He's a huge basketball player. He's a huge basketball player.
Did you see that video? There's a video going around from Qatar of a guy going around. Yeah, Qatar, if you want to say Qatar. There's a guy going around Qatar, and he was going up to people dressed in the full Levush,
Arab headdress,
Arab wear, and he said, "Oh, I'm with my friend. I'm reporting from Israel. I'm here from Israel, talking to my friend." They look at him when he says Israel, and he gives them this like stern look, and they say, "No, bye bye. I'm not talking to you." And it happened like 4 or 5 times, and then someone really wanted to beat him up, and he's like, no, I'm kidding with you. It was a prank. This guy was pulling a prank. He's saying, no, I also hate Israel. Don't worry, I also hate Israel. And it was like so sad. Like this was getting so many views online. Like, yeah, we all hate Israel. But I think people think that Israel made peace sort of with the UAE, but like it doesn't mean that everyone in the UAE likes Israel.
I'm glad interesting that you brought that up, because there's I'm sitting here in my hotel room in Jerusalem and not being out on the street eating jelly donuts and jumping around with everybody, which is what is going on right outside these walls. Just too tired for that tonight, maybe tomorrow night. But I have to tell you that Jerusalem is really is, like I said in the beginning, is alive with all kinds of ethnic groups. I saw a lot of people, a lot of Chinese tourist groups I saw this evening on the street.
Is that like B'nai Menashe?
No, they're people from China, that are visiting Israel. I don't know if they have any kind of religion is discouraged in China, but listen, there's 1.5 billion people in China. There's a tremendous number of different ethnic groups, a lot from Africa, and tourism is booming. The pandemic is thankfully over. That shut down the country for almost 2 years and hurt the economy very, very dramatically, very, very significantly. But being here today, it's almost like we were like taken by surprise about how first of all we were on a
How
plane
diverse?
with
You're saying how diverse it was?
yeah we were on a plane. I think was 90% birthright students.
Okay, that's amazing. It
You
really is
know,
amazing.
the airport lounge at JFK and the kids that were on the plane. They they were thank God we weren't sitting with them, but they were very very noisy, and they were sitting in the back of the plane mostly, and but we were a little except for the big Rolls Royce engines, which I sent you some pictures of, it was pretty
Yeah.
quiet. Otherwise, those engines make a lot of noise. I gotta tell you, those are
Oh
big
yeah.
engines. Those are big
You
engines.
didn't get your beauty sleep?
No, I don't think maybe I napped for 10 minutes. I didn't sleep. The ElAl service was great as usual. Um,
Right.
they told me to criticize something. I,
I don't need you to criticize something. If you want to, you can.
no,
I
I
don't need you
wasn't
to.
there. No, they served some shakshuka this morning for breakfast. No, the thing I liked about yesterday's flight was
I'm
that
glad. By the way, it's good. I don't see any of the shakshuka on your shirt, so that's a success.
well, I did change my shirt
Oh, okay.
a couple of times today because it was very warm, but I didn't get anything on my shirt. They gave me a nice paper a cloth napkin. I tucked it into my shirt. I was protecting my shirt because I couldn't get to my shirts. They were underneath the plane in the belly of the plane, so I couldn't have access to a new shirt on a 10-hour flight. But it was a great flight. It was a beautiful 787 Dreamliner, and the service was great. The wine was delicious. I wasn't so crazy about the shakshuka. It wasn't my
I fe-
style.
the
There's
second you
different
brought it up, I felt like you had an issue with the shakshuka.
there's different cultural ways to make shakshuka. Shakshuka. You have
You
to
don't
be
like the way ElAl makes it.
number one. You have to be. I don't know. It's not ElAl. It's the particular chef they were using for this. It was very watery. Let me put it that way, which runs
Okay.
the risk, which adds the risk to getting it on your shirt, whether you have a napkin covering yourself from shoulder to shoulder and from your neck down to your waist. You still run the risk of having some of that shakshuka seep through. So
Yeah.
you gotta be careful.
Definitely always got to be careful.
So let me tell you about what's going
Yeah,
on.
please.
The weather was warm today. It's supposed to get a little bit cooler tomorrow. I think our plan
Hmm.
is to go maybe go down to the Dead Sea tomorrow a little bit.
Okay.
May
Did
go to
you?
El.
I saw that you had a nice encounter with the Chabad air desk in JFK.
Yes, we posted a nice picture. I think you saw that. Maybe you want to post it if you have access to it. I don't know, but
Sure. I'll post it right here.
your sister and brother-in-law, Dini and Eliezer, are here with their 6 children. Not in the hotel room with me. They're staying in a different apartment, an apartment that they rented, but they're not here right now, so it's a little quiet here right now. And but we were there at Chabad Air, and it was big tumult at the airport yesterday. A lot of people, a lot of flights going out, and like I said, we were on the birthright flight, so that was really noisy.
It's really
A lot of
amazing how
kids.
many. It's amazing to see how many people are doing birthright to go to Israel, and I wonder what percentage of the people who go do birthright end up, sticking around. Maybe they go to Isha Torah and they follow their roots. Maybe.
Well, I say two things about that. Number one, birthright, the funding for birthright has been dramatically cut this year. I think the Adelson family, Sheldon Adelson, cut $20 million. He used to give $30 million to birthright, and this year they're only giving $10 million. So obviously that cuts out a lot of trips. In terms of the kids, that of course, I don't know if the objective is to not necessarily to have kids go to yeshiva. I don't think the founders or the inventors of Birthright intended that necessarily, but I think that it happens in a small percentage of cases where a kid stays
Right.
and ends up in a good place and turning his life around. But I think the
I wonder.
objective is
Yeah.
they reject their birthright is just American Jews are so removed, so distant from anything Jewish and anything Israel in a positive way, just to give them a good feeling. For you might have seen the commercials for for Israel to come. I mean, the appeal is to me is disgusting. The appeal, all they talk about is the beaches and the nightclubs, and they have a guy in a bathing suit and a woman with rainbow colored hair, and this is supposed to be inviting people to come visit Israel. This is supposed to be an exciting part of Israel. Obviously, there's great
They
rich
got it
things
wrong.
there.
You're saying they got it wrong.
I think they got it. I don't know who they're trying to appeal to, but
So Abba, why don't you give your little version of a commercial for Israel right now? What would it sound like?
listen, the Jerusalem is teeming with people. I'm going to go tomorrow morning early. Probably I'll be up early. I'm going to go down by the Kotel. The weather's going to be nice. It's going to be a little bit on the chilly side, but it'll be in the 50s, which is not bad. And just to meet people from all cross sections of life. We're only here a few hours, and besides seeing people from all over the world, we met people on the plane that are coming here for weddings and for bar mitzvahs. And I met someone tonight by the hotel who's having his son's upsharon here. His oldest child is 3 years old and having an upsharon. So he arrived today. His parents are coming tomorrow. He's going to have the upsharon on Sunday. So I mean, there's Jerusalem is culturally and spiritually rich for people, and people are seeking meaning, and you're not going to find that much depth or meaning on the Tel Aviv beaches or the Netanya beaches. If it's a warm day, you might want to go swimming. There's nothing wrong with that, but there's a lot more dimension to what Israel has to offer Jews from around the world and people in general from around the world. And you see the people feel it. The people are drawn to Israel. Why are people coming from every country in Africa and from China and from India? Why are they coming here? Why are they spending their mony here?
I think it's I think for spirituality.
Okay, so how about appealing to people's spirituality? Those commercials that I saw that you may have seen don't appeal to spirituality. They appeal to nightclub and dancing and beaches. That's that's the sum total of it, pretty much. Anyway,
Hopefully
we're gonna have a lot to report to you. We have a jam-packed week planned. I don't know what we do.
Are you going to see any Gedolim?
If I do, I'm going to, of course, have my phone with me to be able to record it. Hopefully, they'll have. You think they'll have Wi-Fi in their houses?
I don't think so.
Or how do I get a password from someone on Bnei Brak?
I don't know. Maybe you'll be able to figure it out. But there's a story that actually broke yesterday, and this is a little bit disturbing. A 97-year-old Nazi camp secretary guilty of aiding over 10,000 murders. The so-called secretary of evil. She said that she did not know what was going on at the camps. Lily Ebert's response. Lily Ebert, who is the co-author of Lily's Promise. Her great-grandson Doe Foreman, someone I interviewed on my podcast, a great young man. She responded, "There's no such thing as a Nazi, as the Nazi's getting too old. A Nazi's a Nazi, and a Nazi should be sentenced no matter what age they are." I don't have to look online to really see what the comments probably are about this in the secular world of like, she's an old woman, let her be. But I think it's important. You have a lady who's 98 years old now, who is part of one of the worst atrocities ever committed to mankind. I think she has to pay for her sins. She has to pay for what she did.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. That's not the kind of thing that I think mercy enters into the realm of as an option, as a possibility. So I think we agree 100% on that.
Yeah, we want to urge, of course, everybody to practice fire safety during Hanukkah. Unfortunately, too often there are stories about people maybe leaving their homes with their candles lit and, no good happening. Fire is dangerous and it needs to be dealt with caution and carefully. Hopefully by us saying this, somebody will think twice before maybe leaving their home with any candles lit and can can make the right decision when it comes to that, because all too often things like this happen. No.
Well, I want you to know the hotel is, like I said, a jam. We're staying in the Waldorf, I told you. And we came into the lobby, and, we figured, oh, look at that. There's like 200 menorahs on a bunch of tables in the lobby. And then we came up to our room, and we came back down to light. There was nothing available. Everything was already lit. So luckily, Ema brought one along, an oil piece that we put together, that she put together, and we took downstairs so we could light our own. So, it is happening here. It is happening here. Jewish people are home. We are home. We are home, at least for Hanukkah.
You saw that there's this guy, Matt Ishiba, that is buying the Phoenix Suns basketball team for somewhere around $4 billion.
What's his name? Matt what?
Ishiba?
Yeshiva?
No, not Yeshiva. Ishiba.
No?
Ishiba.
All right, that's close enough. What's the story about?
He's buying the Phoenix Suns for $4 billion. I don't think any team has in any professional sport has been sold for that amount. I'm sure they have value like that, but $4 billion is a professional sports team.
Well, listen, apparently you must be a wealthy businessman, and it's a vanity purchase. It's a prestigious thing to own a sports franchise today. You know what the Yankees and the Mets are worth today?
Yeah, what?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure the Yankees are probably worth tens of billions of dollars.
What?
Tens of billions of dollars. Way. Look, the guy who owns the Mets is going to have a payroll this year of over $400 million.
Okay, he wants billions of dollars.
Yeah, you know what it means. You know what it means to have the prestige of owning the New York Yankees.
Okay, so. One second. Okay. The New York Yankees are owned by the Steinbrenner family, who bought them in 1973 for $8.8 million US. And here's an article from sportskeeda.com. It will come as no surprise that the Yankees rank number one on the list of the most valuable MLB's teams. From iconic logos and legendary players to championships and mentions in pop culture, the New York Yankees brand has a valuation of $6 billion, according to a March 2022 report on Forbes.com.
Okay.
So that's, $6 billion. Not bad.
What year? Valued according to what year?
No, this year, 2022.
I think it's worth a lot more just for the prestige.
Are you going to put in a bid? Are you going to put in a bid?
The prestige of owning a team, I think.
Are you going to put in a bid?
No, I'm not a Yankee fan. I'm not a Yankee
Otherwise, you probably buy it.
I have a problem with a team that refuses to put the names of the players on the back of the uniform, so you never know who's at bat.
Interesting. Yeah, I hear that.
You never know who's coming up. You never know who struck out. You never know who flied out. Aaron Judge is 99, but that's all you know.
Yeah. Anything else you want to discuss?
Well, it's great to be in here in Israel. Right now, down the block, in the Mamila Mall, there's a Rootin' Tootin' concert going on. I'm not sure who's playing, but there's a lot of noise, and the streets are popping, and people are jumping around.
Maybe you just stay. Maybe just get just stay there.
And I should just stay just so I can report to you.
No, you seem like I feel like you enjoy being there, and maybe you should live there.
You know what? I have to get some rest. All right. So you ask me tomorrow. I'll try to give you a clearer answer. Okay.
Okay. All right. Make sure to subscribe to the Daily Thread on WhatsApp. You'll see so much news, stories, content. If my father ends up getting to B'nai B'rak and some Gadol, maybe we'll see something from there as well. Okay, make sure to subscribe. The link is in the description and the show notes. Have an awesome day. We will see you all tomorrow.
All right, Kol Tov.